I'm recording. But I'm not recording you, I'm just recording what is happening in my box. Oh, good. So your kit got delivered. Tell Mom thank you. Okay, and if you are traveling or sitting in the dentist's office or whatever, do what you have to do. Um, so we're going to paint, and we're going to paint without a preconceived notion, but at some point we have to figure out what it is we're going to do. So I'm going to start by actually mixing up some colors, and I want to use colors that you have. So I can't remember, do you guys have magenta or phthalo red? Do you guys have a magenta?
We have magenta.
Okay, I'm going to put magenta out. So I'm putting the same colors that you guys have. And I have this idea about color mixing today. I'm just using a popsicle stick to take out colors. So I'm putting out red, magenta, yellow, blue. I'm using a tray that like mushrooms came on, but you can use a tray. You can use a paper plate or whatever kind of tray you have, to-go container or meat tray or whatever. So if you're using up these old ones, still save these containers because they're super useful for the next couple paintings we're going to make. So I'm going to go ahead and put out paint, and then I have an idea about mixing that I want you guys to follow with me. So I'm going to put out everything but black. I don't know if I'm going to need black in this painting. I may put some black at the very end. Normally this would bug me to no end to have the paint mixed like this, but we're going to mix anyway everything. So it's not bugging me as much as it would normally bug me. I like to keep the paints real pure. That is my least favorite color, the phthalo green, but it might be helpful today. I'm trying to put them sort of in a rainbow here. I believe you have a raw sienna and a Venetian red. You guys have Venetian red? It's like the brick red. You don't, but I have this idea about mixing that I want to show you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I'm putting out a lot of colors. Well, at least red, blue, and yellow.
Okay.
But you're going to see in a minute when I do some work on this palette, I'm going to use as little of this pure paint as possible, and if I do use pure paint, I'll probably dip back into the pure paint. So what do I need? I need white. Okay, in your paint kit, you should, if you went on time, you got an extra white. If you didn't go on time, I did the best I can to hit all the bags, but there was a lot going on. I noticed the Dollar Tree had $1 containers of white acrylic paint in the craft department. So if you need more white acrylic paint, they had some. Okay, I also have some water and a paper towel because I know I'm going to need to blot my brush. I'm going to paint the whole painting with a dirty brush. When you're ready to go on color mixing, would you put RTG in the chat that you're ready to go, that you got your paints and you're ready to mix? So you can use any kind of tool. I'm using popsicle sticks and plastic spoons. I do have palette knives, but I'm too lazy to walk out to my garage. Yeah, you don't have to use the same colors, but I recommend not having a preconceived notion about what you're going to paint until it's time to paint. And then I'm going to paint, and then you're going to dive into. And I'm just sort of starting to think about what I might paint right now. And my brain is just sort of fishing around for an idea. I'm using 9 by 12 paper, any piece of watercolor paper, including like a mixed media sketchbook page would be fine. But if I were you, I would take it out of the sketchbook and put it on like a piece of newspaper or something so that you can paint to the edge without ruining everything in the sketchbook. Okay, so when I paint, I actually spend like an hour mixing the paints before I paint. So like I rarely use the colors like this, and you guys do all the time. You use the colors right out of the containers, but I don't. I consider these like flour, sugar, salt, eggs, vanilla. I bake when I cook. I mix these paints like they have to be mixed and cooked to be consumed. So I want to mix the paints for you. I'm going to turn the light. Okay, so I'm going to start mixing, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change all these colors. And so I'm going to make like a pile. First I'm going to change the pink, the magenta by adding white. And my popsicle stick is dirty, and I don't care because I'm going to take a little of each color and put it in this spot right here. I'm going to take a little of each color, and I'm going to make a neutral that's going to have each of the colors on my palette. And this neutral, careful with that phthalo, it is so dang strong. So everything that goes wrong in my paintings is caused by phthalo green. It's super annoying. So I'm making like a neutral gray, brown, violet gunk over here on purpose. See that phthalo green is taking over. I'm going to hold it up and I'm going to stir because I'm bending over in a very awkward painting position, not healthy for my back. So I am just mixing this mucky neutral. It's a terrible color. It actually would be great for painting like trim on a house or something. It would make the house disappear. So this is a gray beige color. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a little bit of this into each of the colors. Because by giving each one of these colors some of this neutral, these colors are going to become like relatives. They're going to relate to each other in a new way because they all have a little bit of each other in them. So what I'm going to do now is take all that mucky neutral, and this is like a very important painting concept, honestly, is to start. I'm already making a huge mess of myself. So what I want to do is make these paints dull, more dull, and honestly more beautiful, because they're going to have their own personality, but they're going to be dulled out. Okay, I'm going to do the reds. I've got an awful lot of Venetian red there. Let's see if I can make that duller. So I think what you're going to start seeing is when these colors are all dulled out by that neutral that they all made, we're going to start to get something that looks way more personal. And the colors are going to kind of be harmonized by all being related to each other now. You know, it's funny. I was thinking I wanted to make an undersea scene, but now I have all these super great browns and pinks and stuff, and it doesn't fit for undersea at all. That was I was thinking sunken treasure. I was just trying to think of something I was going to paint. Ah, look at how pretty that yellow is now. Some of you are going, it's not pretty, you're weird. Always were weird, always will be weird, but I like it. So some of these paints may be too dark. You may have to bring some light into them. So if you see like beautiful colors in a painting and they're harmonizing and you're like, I don't know how to do that in my painting, this is a way to do it. I'm just in love with how beautiful these colors look together. Makes me want to paint. Are they more beautiful than they were when they came straight out of the tube? And we don't see the gray gunk. Manello, I know that color. I still have it on things from college, and I went to college like 40 years ago. I still have it on my quilt, and yeah, that green just gets all over everything. And if you try to do art in your bedroom, like, good luck. It's going to be there on your clothes. Okay. Who made beautiful colors? Who made beautiful colors? Now, I'm trying to think of what does this make me think of? Still kind of want to find Nemo. The green is overpowering. Okay, so I'm still trying to think, what is it going to be? I am not going to make the God's Eye in the flower field. What am I going to do? I'm going to get my brush wet. I just put put it in like that deep, like 1/8 of an inch. Just get a little water on it. And I think, now remember, I still have the option to get some black and white going, or to get the pure color. So like, I knocked out all my yellow. This is my dulled yellow. I can always grab some of these pure colors, but my advice to you is only use the pure colors at the top of the painting. Okay, so I'm going to start painting, and in between now and 2:15, I've got like a half an hour to paint. I'm probably not going to get this painting done, but I'm going to do everything I can to do as much as possible. My advice to you would be to watch me, and as soon as you get an idea, dive in and start painting. And you don't have to paint what I'm painting at all. Okay, so your painting and my painting don't have to look alike, but I'm asking you to use the biggest brush you have. If you didn't go get this 1.5 inch brush, just find the biggest thing you have in your paint set, or maybe your house has a trim brush that you've used to paint the trim. I don't know why, but I'm thinking people.
Can we mix more?
You are free to do what you like. This is the United States of America and you're in your own home.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of these conversations we're having about people. And I don't know. I'm seeing this. So I'm trying to, the whole idea with this painting assignment is to see what you can do to maximize this big brush. You don't have to paint what I'm painting, but I am starting with a dark gold head. And I'm kind of thinking, first week of spring. I'm thinking flower garland on this person's head, but the first thing I'm going to do is paint their head. So I'm getting a head in here. I'm just going to leave it bald for right now. So I'm thinking, can I do a Rebecca Campbell? Can I do a portrait? Can I do a portrait with this big, huge brush? It doesn't look to me like I can fit two of them in here. And like I said, you don't have to have a preconceived notion. But I love these flesh tones that I made, so I'm going to work with these flesh tones. And I'm just going for these big, big details first. Okay, yesterday I dove in and I painted a landscape. So if you want to do landscape, if you want to steal my pirate treasure idea, Finding Nemo, or if you also want to make beautiful spring maidens, go for it. Landscapes, deserts. These colors would be super nice if you want to paint like Joshua Tree. Okay. So remember, we already mixed. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try dipping the brush into two colors at the same time. And I want to try to use the brush, the wide side, the tip, the narrow side. I want to see how many things can I do with this brush. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and do two colors together. And because I've already mixed all the colors together, if I have a little bit of brown still in my brush, it kind of disappears into the paint because that paint already had that brown mixed into it. Okay, you're not going to get this painting wrong because we're just painting. We're just diving into painting and we're seeing what can I do with a big brush. I'm painting for my lunch. Because when I get rid of you people, I get to eat finally. Anybody else too busy to eat today?
I did homework on my lunch. And my mom's making homemade pizza right now.
Oh, mama. I think someday you'll look back fondly at being at home with your parents, even if you're sick of them right now. Okay, I have two humans. Two humans. One with a very big lip. So I'm kind of thinking maybe these people are in a garden. So now I'm going to kind of like build my garden. I really wanted to do like seaweed and stuff. But I'll just make it an outdoor garden. So now I'm trying to use the yellow to make some more like yellow-green. That's more bright than this funny palette. Remember, your greens are always going to be more beautiful if you make them with blue and yellow than if you buy them. There you go. There we go. So I'm going to kind of paint into my faces and then repaint my faces so that I can get the leaves to go behind. And I just want you to remember that, like, if you're painting and you don't like it, it dries in a few minutes and you can paint over it again. And I want to remind you that you do not have to do what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is what I'm doing. I'm going to put some light blue on these leaves. Maybe some dark blue. Okay. So now I'm thinking flower crowns. So I'm trying to use the edge of this brush. Just occurred to me I might want hair before I put flowers. So I'm actually squeezing the extra paint off into a dirty paper towel that I dirtied in my drawing class. I'm just going to get as much of that horrible green paint out of there. And I may finally need some black. So when I paint normally, I'm super fussy. I get a brush dirty for every color. Each color gets its own clean brush. So this is like way less high maintenance than I usually paint for myself. When I paint, sometimes I get like 40 paintbrushes dirty because I like each paint, especially with oil paint. I like each color to have its own paintbrush, and I like the colors to stay super pure. So this is like definitely not my normal. See if I can get black, like black bangs. Oh, I love it. Ooh la la. I dig it. So I'm aiming for like shiny hair that's flowing, and now my brush, it's broken up into a whole bunch of pieces, which is totally working for my concept here. Is everyone painting? We're going to hold up our paintings later. You can't get it wrong. All you have to do is experiment. Okay, so my attempts at making an eye with a big giant brush are interesting. Okay, so I'm going to go for like a more natural curly hair with texture. Let's see, what can I do here? Don't mind my finger painting. Are you having fun? Who's making a painting they didn't plan on? I am. You can work asynchronously, yes. If it's bugging you. McManus painting here, painting these. I seem to be illustrating these two people looking at each other, and I'm going to give them flower crowns. But right now I'm just working on their faces. And you'll notice I am sticking to my big brush. I'm going to raise that forehead. Okay, the really nice outcome for this would be if you, at 2:15, were not done, but you still felt like painting instead of passing out. And you felt like painting because painting is awesome. I guess I got inspired by Rebecca Campbell. The big brush strokes. Now I'm trying to build structure. I accidentally have kind of a Zorn palette thing going. I didn't mean to. Okay, facial features with a big 1/2 inch brush are very challenging for me. the whites of her eyes. I don't want the whites of the eyes to be white, so I'm trying to mix up a little. It's too white. Trying to mix up a little blue and white. Because the whites of our eyes almost always have a shadow on them. Okay. Ten more minutes. What can we do in 10 minutes? I hope somebody's already got a painting that kind of surprises themselves. Either in the use of color or the use of brushstroke or the content you weren't expecting. Oh, it just never even occurred to me, but maybe these people are getting married right here and now. How beautiful. They're looking in each other's eyes as they say their vows. It's springtime. I'm just making the most creative flower I can think of with pink and white on my brush at the same time, without getting too into the details. Ooh, 4 more minutes. What can we do in 4 minutes? What can we do, fix, make? Got our eye popping. Nose job. Giving her a nose job. So a good way to forget your worries is to be in a hurry and focused on something. Just put your attention on something like a painting. I feel like I'm illustrating a Disney thing. Anybody else getting a Disney vibe from my painting?
I was thinking midsummer.
Yeah, it's kind of got that. I think he needs some white flowers. I guess I'm feeling romantic. I keep going out to gardens. I went to the Huntington, the Descanso, and the Arboretum this week because spring is springin'. I highly recommend it if you can get out. All the ducks are mating. It's very beautiful to see all the little paired ducks swimming around together, looking for a nice place to have some eggs. I'm making some what I call fried egg flowers. White flowers with yellow centers. Okay. That's looking pretty festive. Now, of course, these paints are not the greatest paints and they will dry down and they won't be as vibrant. It actually looks better here in the video than it does in the actual painting. After it dries, it may be dull and you may have to go back in and like your first pass at the painting might not be the only. Like if you're into this painting, you might want to let it dry and do another pass at it because you'll be able to build up some layers and okay, anybody want to hold up what they're doing? Give us a peek at your house. What's going on at your house? Anybody want to be brave? Turn on their video camera.
Can I show my camera because I really have to leave, like, right now?
Yeah, of course. Would love to see it. Let me get you guys all. I would love to see a peek, and then of course you're gonna photograph this.
Can you see my painting?
Yeah, it's a flower. Got a flower going. Awesome. Try to get the whole paper filled up too.
Yeah, the background. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye. You're gonna photograph it and upload it.
Okay, thank you.
So here's the painting I did today. Here's the painting I did yesterday. Neither of them did I have the slightest idea what was going to actually happen when I started painting. So I was thinking underwater scene and I just went with it because I really love these, I love these tones I made by mixing all the mucky colors together, and that just inspired something in my imagination to start painting. So the idea of this painting, let's see. Sit Lally, looking.
Yeah, this is fine.
You got inspired by Van Gogh.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I hope you keep going on that. Just needs.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe if I use small brushes, I could add more detail.
My challenge would be just keep going with what you have with the big brush, but that's up to you.